Hello, everybody. My name is Trevor, and today we're going to be talking about a concussion incident that happened in a college, actually, that is in Ohio. Some of you may know it. Baldwin Wallace University is a D3 school in the Ohio Athletic Conference. The case is Alex Isaac versus Baldwin Wallace University, and to summarize what's going on in this case, we have a freshman coming out of high school. He is getting into the football program. He does all of his initial testing, his impact testing, physical, all this other stuff. He's perfectly healthy at this point. He suffers his first concussion on August 17th. This was a morning football practice. It was during a one-on-one football drill, and it was head-to-head contact. So after practice, Alex had symptoms of a concussion. He was vomiting, confusion, and a very severe headache. He notified the head athletic trainer, which is Andrea Cook in this case. This case also happened in 2011. The file of the lawsuit wasn't actually until 2014, so the case is actually still in the court system. But I found some very interesting things in this, and I still wanted to talk about it. Although, towards the end of the video, I'm going to talk more about the prima facie healthcare principles and stuff like that. Um, I don't know if I can really form an opinion yet on it due to that it hasn't been ruled yet, but some of the facts that are in this case are pretty hard to deny. So what happened is on August 17th he sustained his concussion. Um, he told the athletic trainer that he vomited, that he was feeling all these concussion symptoms. So as any normal athletic trainer, we tested him and all this other stuff. Um, Cook and the assistant athletic trainer at the time reported that he had 13 concussion symptoms, including severe headache, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, sensitivity to light, fatigue, low energy, drowsiness, irritability, nervousness, difficulty with memory, difficulty with concentration, feeling slowed down, and generally not feeling like he was himself. He received a score of 42 on the SCAT-2. He also reported symptoms of um, that, excuse me, he also said to the athletic trainers that during mental and physical activity that the headache and the symptoms got worse. So on the initial day, he did not see a physician. Um, he also did a balance test that day. He had 12 errors, um, and was it doesn't say here, but I'm assuming that he was told by the athletic trainers that he had a concussion, but was not technically diagnosed by a physician. So that night, I'm guessing due to it being a D3 school, and the budgets are probably low there for healthcare, and it's not as accessible as, say, Kent State or an Ohio State, where we have medical staff there at all times. So that night, he went to Fairview Hospital and went to the emergency room because his concussion symptoms were getting worse, and they diagnosed him with a concussion. Um, And just an odd fact for you, that night, as he was still at his parents' house, his head coach called him, which is John Snell, and he called Alex and said that he wanted him to report to practice tomorrow on August 18th. Um, it doesn't say whether or not he wanted him to participate or not, but he wanted him there. Um, on August 18th, he was assessed again, but was not seen by a physician once again. He that day reported 13 concussion symptoms, um, still feeling like he wasn't himself, headache, irritability, etc. On August 19th, he was evaluated by the assistant athletic trainer, Jennifer, um, also reporting 17 concussion symptoms that day. Still wasn't evaluated by a physician on the 19th. Also wasn't seen by a physician on the 20th when he was still reporting 14 concussion symptoms. So pretty much what's going on here is he sustains this concussion on the 17th, and just to give you a quick little thing, he doesn't get seen by a doctor until September 13th when another incident happens, and we'll get to that shortly. So let's skip to August 22nd. Still reporting 8 concussion symptoms, and he fails his impact test on the 22nd of August. Still was not evaluated by a physician. His concussion symptoms were still going on the 23rd. He was still reporting 9 different concussion symptoms. Also was not seen by a physician. On the 24th, still reporting concussion symptoms. On the 25th, reporting concussion symptoms. Also on the 26th, he was not seen by the doctor as well, and still reporting concussion protocols. Or excuse me, I was reading off of the list, but on the 26th, he was still reporting concussion symptoms. And what's weird is, usually I know for us, and I'm pretty sure all around, during a gradual return to play protocol, we usually wait until the patient is asymptomatic. They have no symptoms whatsoever. And what's weird about this is he's still reporting symptoms, yet on the 27th, they start a gradual return to play. And the day after, the 27th, it doesn't really state here if he was feeling anything after light jogging, but on the 28th of August, 2012, after jogging, he reported a headache. And now what happens is like when you report a symptom like that, you have to start from phase 1, let's say. And so, long story short, he goes through this gradual return to play protocol, and the 29th, 30th, and 31st of August, he's still not evaluated by a team doctor, and things are just getting kind of messed up here by the head athletic trainer and assistant athletic trainer. They're not really doing things right so far. On September 1st, he was not evaluated by a doctor, and this is where it starts to get real weird for me, at least. Cook, which was the head athletic trainer, clears Alex to play football, and he receives more blows to the head, not significant enough to maybe have him go through second impact syndrome or anything like that, but he is still not technically cleared to play by law. He's didn't follow any protocol whatsoever, and it was just real iffy all around. So he is on the 2nd, he is now cleared to have light hitting, as Cook says. On the 2nd, they also held an intra-squad scrimmage, and an assistant coach asked the head athletic trainer if it was okay for Alex to play in the scrimmage, and Cook changes her decision from partial light hitting to full contact scrimmage. And this is when I start to, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this is happening. And so he goes in, he plays this scrimmage, and when we look at it, there's 3 things that went wrong, and they're actually being sued for these 3 different things. Number 1, didn't go through a protocol whatsoever, any protocol whatsoever, didn't go through their own protocol, which prior to them putting him in on September 2nd, they actually revised, updated their protocol to new standards that are ideal for today's return to play. And it's crazy because they revised this, but they're not following it, and it's crazy. So um, they so number one, they don't go through the return to play. They don't see a physician whatsoever. He's yet to see a physician, and he's cleared to play, which is crazy because technically he was never even diagnosed by a team doc, which I find pretty crazy. And then doesn't pass an impact test to start return to play. That's three crucial things that you need to return to play. And none of that happened, and this man is now playing in a full-on scrimmage. So, like I said earlier in the video, there has not been a ruling yet because it's still in the court systems, but the evidence that is out right now is pretty undeniable, but once again, it has to go through a jury, so a jury has to decide that. But I would have to say that I am for Alex because it's just me as a athletic training student and soon to be athletic trainer. It blows my mind that it was done like this. They did not do what their job entails. Like, they did not take care of their patient. They had malfeasance out the wazoo. It's crazy. Like, they didn't properly go through a return to play protocol. They did not see a physician to get cleared. They did not do an impact testing to get cleared. They missed three crucial parts, and they still let this kid that is still presenting concussion symptoms into this scrimmage. And so after this scrimmage, he complains of more headaches and stuff, but says it's due to the heat. Because then again, let's think about the autonomy of the player. He himself is not trained like us. He doesn't have the knowledge that we have. Yeah, in his mind, he could really think that, and he'll say that to the athletic trainer, but it's not our job to... We know what is happening in the brain. We know the physiological effects and all this other stuff. So why are we letting a student that doesn't really know what he's talking about dictate, okay, well, yeah, that's what he's going through. It's just the heat. He has a headache. Let's let him keep going. Like, no, we got to look further into this. You guys already missed three things. Don't miss a fourth thing by letting the player tell you what to do. So we look at this, and on September 5th, he reports another headache after practice and says it's from the heat. So we keep skipping down here, and he keeps reporting headaches, but he's saying it's from the heat. It's from the heat. There's a lack of air conditioning in my dorm room. I'm just getting a headache from that. So on... excuse me here. I'm getting a little confused. I lost my spot. But so on September 7th, he is reporting more headache, difficulty remembering. He's starting to complain of not being able to concentrate in his class, and he's falling behind in his classes and all that good stuff. And the crazy thing is he finally sees a physician on September 13th, 2011, and he's seen by two different doctors, and they both say that he has a concussion. So if you have two separate opinions telling you that there's a concussion, why in the world was he ever cleared the first time without... It just blows my mind. So, like, you guys can see my point here. I'm definitely for Alex, and I really hope he does come out of this with some justice, because there was some negligence in this case, some malfeasance. They did more harm to him than any good. There was no good on the athletic trainer side in this story. Unfortunately, he still suffers from headaches and memory loss and stuff like that today. He also dropped out of college before he ever finished his freshman year. So, to wrap up, like I said earlier, it's just mind-boggling to me that that the athletic trainers really did something like this. You would think as a head athletic trainer, assistant athletic trainer, with college degrees and stuff like that, that you wouldn't mess up something this bad. But I guess it can happen, and unfortunately for them, it got caught, and he's now having a lawsuit for them. He's really, and I don't think it's based on money, because he's really only asking for $25,000 to help pay for the college tuition that he had to pay for, that he didn't end up even really using because of dropping out. And he's also asking for a little extra money. It was not stated in the file, but he's asking for a little extra money for distress and kind of being humiliated for needing to drop out of college because he was wrongly undiagnosed for a concussion almost. I mean, the athletic trainers knew there was a concussion, but the whole point about this is they messed up the return to play, and they put him in more harm. It's not good. But that is my take on the Alex Isaac versus Baldwin Wallace University case, and hopefully we get to do another one.